Ulongata bati yada to ye kuma da ifa. Inu to ye ko je love bipa. Oba tala, oba takutakun. Zongo eshu, ogun oya osun. Kini ṣẹ̀ṣe tán ṣe nílé yìí o. Ó jẹ́ lọ́jà rẹ̀.
Peace and blessings, Alafia. How you doing, God?
Peace and blessings, man. I'm doing good. Lafia Ni. How about yourself, brother?
I can't complain. I can't complain. It's an honor, bro. It's an honor. I've been watching you. I'm a big fan of your show. Like your work and everything. I'm a big fan of your work and want to introduce you. And because we need to talk more with more brothers in the community and try to uplift each other and everything. So you're, in my eyes, you're a spiritual alchemist. You use the elements of nature through the teachings of Ifa, right? And the science of Ifa, right? Okay. So tonight I want to talk to you about a couple of different things. Would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yes, sir. First and foremost, I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you with the invite, the opportunity to share this interview with your platform, your audience. And I want to give a shout out to the ancestors and the great God of heaven for making this thing happen. Because we was trying to make it happen for a couple weeks now, and things tried to come in the way to block it. But that's something that I feel like whenever you're trying to accomplish something or achieve something great, there's always roadblocks and hurdles that try to get in your way to kind of slow you down from making it happen. So I want to give thanks to the ancestors, and the great God of heaven for allowing this to happen. And yeah, man, Orisha Bami, yeah, I appreciate you.
Man, I met this brother maybe about 5 or 6 years ago in Orlando. And it was funny because coming back to Orlando was a little pilgrimage. I had moved away from Orlando, came back or whatever. And Alafia. So I met you in one of the markets. And I think that's kind of important too. That's going to be an important part of our conversation too, because we met each other in real time in the market of sustainability programs. I think around the time right after 2020. And you were pushing the community hard, doing community work. That's how we know each other. We knew each other from community work and stuff like that. I thought that was amazing. Like I said, I did a lot of spiritual work in Orlando. Like when they say Orlando Magic, they're not talking about no basketball. You know what I'm saying? So I met you. You were doing a documentary on the word nigga. I remember, and that was a big thing in the community. Everybody had they tried to get me to come on, and I played myself because I could have been a part of it. I should have been a part of it, but I thought it was like, yo, that's a dumb topic. We should already know that, and that's the ego in us thinking that everybody know, like everybody ain't been on the same journey we all been on, and that's one of the things we got to work on in the community, the ego, because we run a lot of people off. You know what I'm saying? So right now we're in an age where there's a bunch of knowledge. We have cell phones. Everybody has cell phones that access knowledge. But the application of knowledge is wisdom. And that's why I love your page. You're talking to a lot of elders, a lot of people that have acquired so much wisdom and knowledge. So I remember when the brother has locks, he did his big chop. You know what I'm saying? Did you go to Africa? You went to Nigeria?
Not the first one. The first one I did 2021. That was here, stateside. So that one, that was the first one. That's the first time I had to do it. But what's funny is that I had grew my locks back, you know what I'm saying, after the first, initiation. So what happened is, it's amazing how it happened, because what happened is after the first initiation, I wasn't sure if I was going to grow them back, and I wasn't sure how long it was going to take me to grow them back, but I was just like, I'm not going to put no pressure on the hairstyle or whatever, because the first time I grew them was it was a signification of growth and transformation within. So it was like an internal purpose of me even growing my locks the first time to begin with, because I looked at my locks as a reflection of my growth, you know what I'm saying, from the transformation from going through, that first cycle of life, or those current phases of life at that time. So when they came off for the sake of going into, the priesthood of Obatala, I felt like if there was any time of purpose for me to cut them, what more, purpose, what higher purpose than to be able to take on that relationship, to the divinity. So it was like, that's what led to it. So then, going into the second one, I grew them back. I did eventually grow them back, and it was nuts, because I remember I had a dream, and it was crazy because I was out of town. I had a speaking engagement in Houston, and I remember I had this dream in Houston, and the dream was so clear. I knew right there, like, wow, watch, the next time I have to check on E5, I bet they're gonna say it's time for me to go into E5. And sure enough, literally the very next Dafa or whichever divination it was from E5, that's exactly what it came down that I was gonna go back, into E5. So then I just went ahead and cut them. I'm like, ain't no need to waste the money, you know what I'm saying, getting them done and keeping them maintenance in them when they're gonna get cut off anyway. So, and that one I did go to the continent. I went to Nigeria, and shout out to the Balogun Shango USA. He's one of my people who brought me over to Nigeria to Oshogbo, and then I actually got initiated into Ifa in a town called Ilobu. So that's when I had to cut him the second time.
Yeah. It was a beautiful experience when you went over there.
It was amazing, brother. Like it was amazing. It was probably the best trip of my life so far. And that's saying something because I've been blessed to have some pretty good trips and experiences, but that one was different. I think more so just on the strength of going to the mother. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a self-proclaimed mama's boy. Shout out to the mamas for Mother's Day too, but I'm a self-proclaimed mama's boy. My physical mothers as well as my spiritual mothers. So then to be on the continent of the mother of the earth, that it was powerful, man. Like I can't. Anybody who's in a position to do it, please do it. I can't stress it enough because you won't come back the same. I've heard other people say that, but I didn't really know what it meant until I actually went and then had my experience with it.
Oh, you said, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I gotta slow it down a little bit because you hit a lot of points in just that aspect, right? And I don't want to forget. One, you said the mother. What do they call the mother of the? What do they call the mother of the earth in Africa, in West Africa?
Onile.
It's another name. What's the most original, oldest origin name?
Are you talking about the planet or the continent?
The planet. We're not doing the continent thing. Like we make it sound. Huh?
Kiwai. I've heard Kiwai. I've heard
Vala. You ever heard of Allah?
Yeah, I've heard of Allah. Yeah.
Allah in West Africa. Yo. We don't even realize how old the name Allah is, and she was the earth goddess. That's why I just had to bring that up for when you shout out to Mother's Day and everything else. And when people be hearing me say certain things, it's come from the experience of life of a journey. When we say school of thoughts, and we all came from certain school of thoughts, we might have had Islamic origins. Some of us had Christian origins, whatever. And then, like you said, now you're doing Ifa. I feel like this is another walk of life, is another school. You see what I'm saying? Whereas the Bible was the basic instruction before leaving Earth, Quran literally means rehearsal, because rehearsal means you're rehearsing the basic instruction before leaving Earth, and practice makes perfect. So now, after getting out of there, and you know how to conduct yourself as an individual, you know what I'm saying? Now you're going into a college. Let's go to college. Let's go to Ifa. Let's go to all these other spiritual systems. And I be hating the fact that people be like, oh man, you switching up. So are you Indian? Are you African? Listen, we don't never say that about black people that practice Christianity. Christianity isn't an American, we act like that's an American religion. So, but and no problem with that. We have no problem when we see black people practice Buddhism or Judaism or whatever the fuck you practice. The biggest thing that they want to divide and make sure we don't connect is the indigenous people around this globe, from Africa and America. You see what I'm saying? The knowledge, if you think about it, the knowledge that comes from Africa and the knowledge that comes from ancient America, if you put them together, they talk their ass off, but all of them, north, south, east, west, all go to Eshu. You see what I'm saying? All of them go to Eshu. I go to the source. So I thought that was funny that the true name of the land was Allah. And they took it and they trying to take it and, you know what I'm saying, made into the Islamic thing. But when we say Allah Akbar, we're talking about from the true source of information and knowledge that we have at hand. So it's like, yo, that stood out to me. And then just the fact that you did a rites of passage as a man. You see what I'm saying? I look at like the schools of thought isn't just, we talk about it. A lot of people nowadays, we got the cell phone, so we get a lot of information from the cell phone. And I went to Atlanta. It's crazy. Like everybody has a beautiful, bright energy, a lot of potential. 25 and under, you judge by your potential. But when it comes to application and wisdom, you can see where they're lacking, because it's like they haven't really had the experience. Experience and wisdom go like hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? So you had experience of going to another place, seeing another land, seeing brothers that may look like you, may not look like you, how they treat you and everything else. But you also didn't go there for, a lot of people go to Africa and don't even go to Africa for the right things. They go to Africa to have fun. They go to Africa to sightsee. No, go to Africa and deal with the spiritual. Like fuck all the bullshit. I want to go for spiritual teaching, science. We're in science class right now, And that science helps us in different ways, the same way Islam taught us how to be better men, or whatever taught us how to be better men. Now we're into how to be better spiritual warriors and whatnot. So a lot of people spend a lot of time, a lot of black men spend a lot of time on these networks and podcasts talking about what the women's supposed to be doing and this and this and it. But we ain't having none of them conversations because niggas is cowards. We're not having a conversation with other black men and saying what we should be doing in the community. And it's kind of because I think we had this conversation before where back in the day, if you had an Islamic foundation, right? We used to have Talim. Talim means class once a week. Juma was once every Friday. Talim was once every Tuesday. So you have class all week or 1 day a week or 2 days a week. And then Juma at the end of the week. So we had a community come together and bring a collective of information together and learn together and read together. And that's therapy. And I say that to say, that's why I love your show, because your show brings back talking, communicating with elders, communicating with brothers, bringing different ideas. Now you got to give me something to research. It's not filtered with, oh, I'm trying to get a like, I'm trying to get this, I'm trying to get that. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's the truth. So with that, I just wanted to say, I appreciate your channel. That's like, you know what I'm saying? You're moving like a griot. You know what I'm saying? You're moving like whatever spiritual. When you say the Abatala, what does that mean?
Well, Abatala is he's accredited as being the Orisha, the deity of creation in regards to our, you know, being our beingness on the planet. But I wanted to jump back into something you said though, back to the initial question too, because initially I wasn't thinking about the word Allah when you started saying what that meant in regards to the planet, but I wasn't really familiar with Allah being a name of the planet per se, but now I do know that the inner earth is called Shambhala. There is another continent, you know, that's in the inner earth, the inner crevices of our planet, you know what I'm saying, that is called Shambhala. So yeah, that kind of it pinged into my mind as you were speaking just now. So yeah, that I did hear of that, I do know of that, and I'm looking forward to actually sharing some shows that I'm working on, you know, right now in the works on Shambhala, you know what I mean, and Agartha. So that part, yeah, I did know that.
Yeah. So like I said, that's another reason I love your channel, because you talk about topics that other people ain't talking about. Shambhala, people don't even, you can't have a conversation with yourself. Some people can, and that's a talent. I'm not the type of person to just talk randomly to myself all day, every day. I haven't got there in my life yet. You know what I'm saying? So, but when you're talking about Shambhala and you're talking about inner urban everything, that's most definitely a topic that we can have one day. Your book, I bought one of your books for my son one time. You want to talk about your first book, or what the first book that I got from you?
Yeah, Starseeds.
Yeah.
Starseeds is kind of funny because I'm in the process of getting some more in print, but and then also you know, I do have the digital copies of it and all that. But Starseeds it's really a ancestral homage, because, you know, one thing I wanted to kind of be clear on too in regards to my journey. E5, I'm fairly new to E5. I haven't been practicing E5 more than like maybe 10 years or so. But I've actually been a student of metaphysics since I was in 9th grade as a freshman in high school. So I studied the pyramids, the pyramid builders, the pyramid texts, the Memphite theology, Nubia, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I really found my foundation. And shout out and Freedom Master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York was my first teacher, my very first. So therefore, everything that I really am and am about in regards to anything that has to do with knowledge or studying or research or intellect in regards to consciousness and metaphysics, it really was based upon me being a teacher of the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York. So that's kind of like where my real journey began. It started at 14 years old when I first got the very first book of Dr. York, which was a book of Revelations. And from there, I kind of just kind of grew as a student, you know, and I still feel like I'm a student. I've still got a lot of growth to do and growing to do. But yeah, with that, you know, Starseeds came about as a download, man. It was nuts because one night, it just literally, the whole story came to me one night, all in one night. And I wrote the whole book in one night. I felt like, now looking back at it, I felt like I was pretty much probably like possessed, or, you know what I'm saying, like a deity kind of took over and then kind of, you know, put that information, you know, through me as the vessel. And I wrote it down. So I wrote it down. I had it for years before I actually had the ability of knowing how to actually write a book. So it's kind of funny because it was the first book I ever wrote, but it actually was the second book that I actually published. You know what I mean? Because at the time I didn't know how to write a book or put it, you know, the whole process of writing a book. So that's how it kind of came about. But the whole ancestral dedication part, was I dedicated to two of my heroes, which is the Honorable El-Haj Malik El-Shabazz, Malcolm X, and then also the Honorable, the General Tupac Amaru Shakur. And so like the two main characters, their names are Malik and Amaru, because like I said, I wanted to pour that, pour that intellectual libation to the ancestors.
Yeah, I see. Bro, I'm getting lost in thought because you said, like I said, you said a lot. And like I said, all right, so one, I'm gonna give you something real quick. That's what it was. I didn't want to forget this. AI, your book, try to do your book through AI. You're going viral. It's gonna make you a lot of money because your book that's a good like a gateway for babies, young babies and young men to read and everything else. And like I said, that also goes back into orders. As men, or rites of passage, and that's what I think of when you go to Africa, or you go to these different places, or even when you get anywhere. If you could be right here on the ground we stand on in Florida and go through rites of passage and initiation as a man, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't go through those anymore, or they go through the bullshit, the fraternities or whatnot in school, and they think this is what it is, but they don't really go through the cultural thing no more because people don't respect the culture no more. Because you know what I'm saying? That's not by design. The funny thing about it is they demonize everything. Like I said, we used to do Talim and Juma all the time, but the first thing they did was demonize Islam and make everything conscious look like a joke. Every time you see anything conscious in the mainstream community, it's either these niggas was evil, deadly, or comedians. These niggas was not serious about this shit at all. You know what I'm saying? It's always a jokey joke. Even with the most of the black people that do the TV show, like the Marlon Wayans or whatever. Remember, all they conscious people were strong black leaders, but fucking with white girls on the side. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that's funny that the mainstream, that's one of the things that keep them out the picture. We don't need to see the original Buddhas. We don't need to see the original Amaru. We don't need to see none of them. And once we realize who those people are, that alone, that once you see who your face really is, in the overall history of the universe type shit, you conduct yourself way differently. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we need to get back to. And like I say, it's an order. We always talk about we want to run something, but that's how you show. That shows that most men are cowards because they're scared of the order. You see what I'm saying? They're scared too. Let's come together. Let's work out every. Rest in peace to Patera. You know what I'm saying? May the ancestors be pleased with him. He just passed, but Patera said was out there at 5 a.m. working out. Niggas is cowards. Niggas don't want to get up and go work out at 5 a.m. and prepare themselves for whatever's gonna pop off. Niggas don't want to come together and put their dollars together. We don't want to come together for nothing but dumb shit. You see what I'm saying? But like I said, I love your page because you have a bunch of different elders, and at one point in time, like you said, star seeds are spread out. You see what I'm saying? They're spread out all these different places, and we felt lonely for so many years, all these different places. And then now we have, I mean, think about it. If you were to really do the information, or you may not have, but the star seeds, right? A bunch of them killed themselves in the 80s. Because they were like, yo, fuck this shit, we out. This shit is not what we signed up for. You know what I'm saying? So some other ones came back, and everybody got to come back and do their little mission or whatnot, right? I like having that conversation. Most people can't have the little deeper conversation, but for those starseeds that keep on returning and do the mission, I mean, and we can call that reincarnations or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're doing the spiritual work. You're following the order, which makes you a better man. Which makes, like, you don't have to keep coming back, and you're making yourself the diamond. Pressure makes the perfect diamond. You know what I'm saying? So, what was the next thing? Your inspiration of your book, community work. Like I said, I met you in the community, and my thing is I do stones. I like to teach about crystal healing, herbal healing. I'm a little like Bruce Lee. I take a little bit of everything and put it together. You know what I'm saying? From Ifa, from like if you look at it, everything really belongs to us, and they block us when they start trying to make you hate each other. They block us, tapping our information. When they make us, it's not cliche when we say they made us hate ourselves. You feel me? Right. So when you see yourself in anything, we hate it now because they made everything a joke. They made everything look weak, and we don't want to be connected to weakness. We don't want to be connected to, especially when people say we're supposed to respect Africa, while in America we over here banging. What Torre is doing over there and standing up for his shit is cool, respectable, and honorable, and it should be more of it. The last time we saw this was with Gaddafi. And it's crazy how America got their nose all, I mean, like the government, not America, but the U.S. government got their nose in their business, considering they sent Obama to kill Gaddafi when Gaddafi was trying to send $1 billion in gold to Black Americans over here to make, you know what I'm saying? Do you know what that would have meant for us if they would have gave us that gold back in, 98 or something like that? I can't remember when Gaddafi was, you know what I'm saying, messing with Farrakhan, but the U.S. government went above and beyond. Not only do we not want to give you anything like we give everybody else to keep us economically, because we already know what we're going to do with it, but they blocked it from anybody else giving us aid. That's don't we find that suspicious?
You gotta kind of gotta go up under the hood, see what this thing called the U.S. and what this thing called the government is. The U.S. paid high-power security detail force for the goons and the manipulators and parasites of the world. So it's like whoever has money is like who they're gonna go work for. Because U.S. is only a corporation, and that corporation is the arm of the papal from the Vatican, from those devils over there in Italy. So it's like they're all connected. That's why they do that, because they get into everything because they're working for the parasites and those who want to control and manipulate the globe. So it's like they're security for hire. So they're gonna always go over, what I'm saying? They like hitmen, you know what I mean? Like they literally go to whoever the paying contractor is and they go and get the job done. So that's why, they do what they do.
When you said contractor, I already knew you was on it. Look, me and Robbie talk about it all the time. Something, I like this conversation because that's all it is. When it all comes down to it, generational. When we say God, we say generator, operator, destroyer. Generator is the one with the money. Generator is the energy or the currency. The one who has the money, the one who has the gold makes the rule. We're going to go back to that gold thing. When Gaddafi tried to give us a gold, and now look at today how gold. Do you know the market value of gold right now?
No, it's high.
They try to do everything they can to keep Black people out of the business of minerals. The only reason I'm ever going to Africa is I'm dealing with Africans about minerals. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why it doesn't click, like, for most Africans, because when I talk to most Africans, they'll be like, yo, you in this land? Dig a hole for me and find the stone. And they'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. They do not know about the minerals out there.
Yeah, that goes back to colonialization and, being in control of the educational systems. Because if they control the education, then they're going to make sure that you don't know not only who you are, but you don't know where you come from and what you have access to. It's like, even though you live on the continent right there above that fertile soil with all those minerals and all those diamonds and gold and all that, etc., it's like, if you're not being taught what that is, then how do you even know what it is? That's like a melanated person who has melanin. If you don't know and you haven't had the education, you don't know the value of melanin because you've never been taught. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like that's what's happening now with how they colonialization and religion to manipulate and control, the masses over there. But we see everybody waking up now, and it's like that control that they used to have is no longer. So I love seeing that.
And just the fact that it's beautiful to be Indigenous American or Black American, whatever you want to call it, because they hid so much of our information from us, we had to go out there and get it. Like what they say, get it from the mud. That means we had to go to all these different aspects, mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever, to get information to make us better people. And the fact that we went out there to find it, it's Muslims in the Quran will tell you that no Muslim in Saudi Arabia, all of them, they said the worst hypocrite is the desert Arab. You see what I'm saying? No prophet is accepted in their own land. The pilgrim is the prodigal son is the one that always comes home. You see what I'm saying? Sankofa, the one that he came back to get the information, or came back to get whatever he needed, culture, whatever. You know what I'm saying? He came back. Sankofa, right?
Yep.
So people like you don't see a lot of Africans wearing the beads and unks. I talked to a brother King Crew, and King Crew was like, "Nah, bro, it's not their technology. It's really our technology." And it's beautiful, like I say, as a Black American, because once we avoid those blockages when they make you hate yourself, and you start doing real research on all these different dynasties. I'm not researching failure. I'm researching the greatness. I mean, research the Dogon, the Mali Empire. Or they of course right now the internet floods information because they know they couldn't stop the information. You see what I'm saying? So when you're looking at, when I want to go to Africa, I want to go to the like I say, the Temple of the Python. Just like in Mexico, they got the Temple of the Python called the Temple of the Serpent. Just like you were saying, in Batala tradition or Dambala and Dahomey is Quetzalcoatl over here. They're lying to us, trying to separate it, but it's a mirror image of itself. When you talk about air deities and air representing wisdom and the order of doing the research, sitting down, knowledge, and applying the knowledge to it, that's how you get the wisdom. Yeah. And like I said, that's every man, each one teach one. Going back to community, going back to what we said about the educational system, but we have to like fight for it because everything about this educational system is against us. Like for us to be black men and speak about education, if we're not gonna speak on it, ain't nobody else gonna speak on it. The system is always rigged. It's time for us to win. Like from teachers failing us in school because they didn't like who you were talking to. Like I've been failed in science class and I ain't know where I've been failed because of the power of the what? They always say the pen is mightier than the sword. Start with community is the foundation. Foundation is always the kids. So we have to have those communities where just like the doula is one of the most important part of the community, the next most important thing in the community is a teacher. Like teaching education, our education, and we can start our own programs. Why do we always talk about we need to go to the government for taking you take money from them? So community is very important. I know you don't like going back to that N word.
Shout out to the brother who created that documentary because we don't want to give him a shout out, but he created the documentary based upon
we make living fashionable. So everything about us is fashionable. It's a style, it's a trend. Everything that we do, we are at the forefront of it. If you look at sports, who leads in all sports? You look at fashion, who leads in fashion? I mean, that's just simply what it is. So they want to fit in, so they will use that term and try to adopt that struggle in order to fit in with what is cool or what is sexy. Because we are the trendsetters. And what Nipsey did was very brilliant. Nipsey took the term and used it brilliantly to weave it into teaching economics, to weave it into teaching building the community, weave it into teaching being a stand-up guy for the community. So he knew what he was doing. I'm going to meet you where you're at in order to get the seed planted where it needs to go. Right.
He was a problem. So for me, the way my mind has always worked, even as a young child, it was like, dang, if this dude is this powerful, if he's this fast, this strong, this big, this accurate, this agile, like if he can do all these things, you know, at such a young age and dominate grown men who are way bigger than him, you know what I'm saying, and dominate these dudes, that is some very powerful, that's a very powerful force, right? So I saw it in real time. It's very destructive too, but it was graceful, it was beautiful, it was like ballet in the ring. Like I was like, dang, you know, but the way my mind always wondered and worked was, if he's able to be that controlled, that disciplined, and that precise with all that force and all that power, it had to get molded from somewhere, from somebody, somehow. I wonder who his teacher is, because his teacher is really powerful. That's the real superpower, because he taught him how to be a force, a destructive force. He taught him how to take that destructive force, internalize it, and then transmute it into a force of discipline and focus and skill and preciseness and precision. And that's where I like, I want to do more to study his teacher. You know what I'm saying? And then come to find out, as I did the research and learn more about the motto, I knew then it made sense as to how I saw what I saw in the ring based upon who was the molder of that, you know what I'm saying, of that force. And it was beautiful. So it's like, that's what I want to be for these young kings. You know what I'm saying? Like my motto with them is like, we started out the program essentially with leadership. And the first person I brought up for the first topic of discussion was Malcolm. And I told him, you know, y'all might come in here like Detroit Red or Malcolm Little, but my goal, and the brothers, shout out to the brothers who come and help me out with this program, is like, our goal is to make sure that you leave here as the Honorable El Haj Malik El Shabazz, also known as Malcolm X. So, because it ain't how you start, it's how you finish. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, immediately I gave them the same kind of like trajectory in regards of seeing an example of what a real, true, powerful black man is. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what kind of led me to that same, you know, that same path, you know, by seeing an example of it. So now I wanted to also show them an example, but then give them the tools like Cuss did with Mike. Give them the tools so they can mold themselves into also becoming the example. So that's kind of like how I look at this mental health thing. Is like we gotta. It starts with love, man. Because you know, the last session I had with him, I asked him, I was like, you know, anybody in here? I said, you know, when's the last time you've had another man, a positive man, tell you they love you? And nobody raised their hands. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, for me, that was my opportunity, just like I did with the show with you. I had to let them know I love you. If nobody else has told you, I'm telling you. That's why I'm here, because I love you. Because I know how that feels, and I don't want y'all to feel like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, somebody here cares about you, and it ain't just me and all the other adults in the room. We all were in agreement that, you know what I'm saying, not only do we love them, but we're there to support them, and if they need us for anything, holler at us, because we're there. So that's where the mental health thing comes into play. It starts with just love, man, because I feel like that's where things go off the railroad tracks, because there's not enough love.
Man, the whole point of knowledge, 60, right? 360 or whatever. Love, life, loyalty, wisdom, knowledge, understanding. And the love is on that 6-point star. You see what I'm saying? Knowledge, because after love, I got to give you some knowledge. If I love you, I'm going to give you this knowledge for free. Everybody else trying to say you some shit. So telling you these things that might heal you or help you study in Malachi, New York, or community events, that's healing. I'm telling you it is. That goes back to the thing we were talking about, Talim class. Going repetitively, having community, and interacting with each other. And we don't do it enough. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, whoever, I get it. But at the same time, I don't let the shit either. You know what I'm saying? Funny thing about it, you said Fulio, and it goes into the music realm, right? Yeah. The music realm is how they got us. How do we know? Because I was one of the kids that got back in that Tupac era. Tupac was our general back then. Think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it. You know what I'm saying? At that point in time, outside of Mix-a-Lot, it was like I'm from Florida, but I moved back and forth from Philadelphia, Mississippi, all sorts of stuff. So I got a little different culture from different places. You know what I'm saying? So up there,
No, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I did want to bring this to the forefront, because I'm not sure if you've thought about it or not. But it just hit my mind like within the last maybe month or two. But if you think about it, right, at that moment right there that you just brought up, that was literally the beginning of the end of real hip hop and the art of hip hop. When 2 Live Crew came out with Pop That Put, all that other stuff, that was the beginning of the end for real hip hop. Because think about it. Before that, you had, Serious 5. You had all the original OGs, Curtis Blow. You had real artists who was creating real art, right? But it was positive. It was all uplifting, all African Bambaataa. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I really should have started with. So it was like all positive, all uplifting, all empowering energy transfer art. And then when that era came with 2 Live Crew and the rest of the destructive energy music, or energy exchange music, that was the destruction aspect. That's when the parasite took over the art. The art was infiltrated, taking over, kind of like ancient Kemet was, when all them parasites came into that. So think about it now, because you had X-rated pornography industry aspect, and then you had the genocidal, gang bang, shoot 'em up, bang bang aspect. So now you got both the psychological, emotional attachments that's destructive when you talk about the physical engagement interaction of degrading our mothers, the women. Then you had the killing of the genocidal killing Hitler type that was implemented when you came in with the shoot 'em up, bang bang. So now you're looking at nothing but destruction. And then that's what we're still seeing to this day is destructive genocide music. And so that's where we really have to get into the minds of our young kings and queens to let them know that they're kings and queens and that they are not the art that's being portrayed as them to be.
Program. The only thing you got on TV is a program. Yeah. The reason that we can say from my generation, because I think we might be in the same age bracket, but our generation, the music probably for the older people was just, it sounded good, but it's music for the kids is programming. That's why you can see the kids, they all get programmed for a certain dance. They get trained. Let's see if we can, let's see if we can all make them dance the same. They start, it's kind of goofy, right? But let's see if we can get them to talk about a girl. Let's just see what we want to talk about, whatever. And you'll miss a whole lot of it. It's like you say, shit's branch out. But when you look at the frequency, the Wise was Tech, you forgot one, KRS-One, when he came out with that, one song, he came out with, so it was like real poetry. Breaking it down, but the way he was breaking it down, you could connect the dots to, I am the original. He was like, I'm Buddha. I can't remember the song.
Master alchemist, though. You talking about a master alchemist, a master scientist.
Bro, that's when he fucked up the radio. When he came out with that song, he said, "Man, I came as Jesus, but y'all hung my ass up." He was breaking down. KRS-One messed up the radio because as soon as he came out with that, he scared us because he was programming us to be like you said. That's when you see these African Bambaatas, and even Tupac back in the day before he felt like he wanted to be a gangster was on some conscious shit. The conscious shit was cool at one point in time. What happened? And that's on everything. What happened? How you let yourself out on some goofy
shit? That's another conversation. That's a whole nother conversation. Because I would
But
rather
that's
have that with people who I know that know who and what Pop really was behind the scenes, because you know what I'm saying. Like,
oh yeah, that's a whole lot.
Yeah.
That also, but you know who you talk to that about? Nobody else but Mr. Smalls.
Yeah, we've talked about it. That's why I said it.
And Boomy, listen, you going viral. Professor Smalls and Boomy and you, oh man. I got one other person, I ain't gonna say their name, and Rod. And get Rod on the phone.
Look,
oh.
I'm waiting on him right now as we speak, man, because you know I'm trying to run that.
Man. Shout out to the guy. Yeah. Shout out to the chief.
Yes,
nah, man, but damn, as far as the music, if you're playing it all day, every day, there's frequency. We're talking about mental health, but we're not looking at the things that are attacking your mental health, because your mind doesn't know the difference. If you're playing games that's shooting all day and you're listening to music that's I need to all day, you see what I'm saying? You're programming yourself. Now you got other people that have actually been through these things, and that's why they're making the music like that. They've already studied this. And we can say, oh, then you're going too far with it. They tell you this in all the movies is a joke, whatever, but when you're looking at they clone Tyrone, they tell you, man, we've been studying years. There's a camera in every hood. They knew how you niggas are still selling dope. Y'all niggas are slow. Because you're still doing the same shit niggas was doing 25 years ago. We talking about mental health, right? Mental health issues, right? You're still doing the same thing that we've done over and over. What is that? What do they call that? You're doing the same thing that never ends well. The same thing over and over and over again. We have not evolved from this.
Well, you know, and that one thing that you were saying about the programming, the way they're doing it, it's called subliminal seduction. So it's like, you know, they're doing things, because shout out to the young king, Triple X, Tashian. If y'all look up some of his videos where he's talking about energy and vibration and frequencies, that young king was a genius. I didn't even know nothing about him either till after he transitioned. But when I got to see some of the videos that he did with just talking about energy and frequency, I was like, oh my God, like they killed another one. Or like that young king was a genius. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like
killed then, because the knowledge he gave you, if you really understand the word about
energy.
Well,
you know, they took him away from, you know, this playing in a certain aspect. But you know what I mean, though, because like I said, but he was, I never knew, but I'm not surprised, because that's why I'm passionate about doing the work that I do. The thing too, man, like I'm one of them people. I'm not one of them people who cares about the spotlight and stats and status. I don't give a damn about none of that, bro. Like, because for me, I'm about the work. Like, that's what I love to do. You know what I'm saying? The work is the scoreboard for me. I don't have to tell you nothing about nothing, but I've been doing this work for a long time, you know, and I've seen people come through here and make little comments and slick stuff and all that. But I've seen this sister on YouTube. I can't remember her channel, but I'm gonna see if I can connect with her, because she said something on her channel, and I've said it so many times, but to hear somebody else say it, man, I was like, oh my God, that's dope. But she pretty much said, like, you know, people, us who are in the conscious community, or us who are going through this elevation transformation where we're tapping into that God self and we're tapping into these higher realms of energy and frequency, she was like, we are elevating and getting stronger because of all the BS that people have put us through, like all the destruction, all the hate, all the blockages, all the beatings, all the robberies, everything that we've been through. The people who are still here standing strong, they don't realize they're only making you stronger. You know what I'm saying? And she said she had people who asked her, well, aren't you afraid of being, you know, killed, or aren't you afraid of them coming to take you out because you speaking all this truth and this, that. She was like, nah, I'm not afraid. She was like, because you think if you're making me stronger, what you doing that to me now, and this body is not bothering me and stopping me, and I'm getting stronger, what you think gonna happen if you get me out of this body and I'm a source of energy? I'm a spirit. What you think that's gonna make me weaker? What? Now you're looking at tornadoes. Now you're looking at hurricanes. You're looking at solar flares. Now you're looking at collapsing stars and planets. So you got to be very careful on who and what you're running up on, because you never know what you're dealing with. You have no idea. You know, and the real people who really hold the access to some things happening, they're not gonna ever tell you that, because they don't have nothing to prove to nobody. They don't have to make themselves out to be something that, because they came here to do a job.
Like, people could talk all day, but like I said, the work is you're doing community work with the kids. Talking about, you see what I'm saying? You're doing things that sustainability in the community. When you do these events, vendors come out. Vendors make money. Those are entrepreneurs, people that chose to work for themselves and not work for anybody else, and they do that with their products. That's why I'm always trying to support every Black-owned business I know of. We can't say we're mad at not supporting it. the local businesses, and we don't support our local businesses. So every chance we get, we should shout out our artists, we should shout out our brothers, we should shout out the teachers so we can learn. We're the directory. Ashu, where do we go? Like I say, like when you talk about frequency, let's talk about centers. And like we say, as a tree, there's a bunch of ways we can go with this. But if we're talking about frequencies or music, or like I say, mental health, you were just talking about the traumas that we've went, generational traumas.
Yeah.
And now you're being programmed because they never can really just beat you as much as they say they beat you like that. Fighting forever. Look up the Florida Wars, the Gullah Wars. Fighting forever. Look up Omi and Benin and all these other ancient civilizations. Look up ancient Ethiopia. Fighting forever. You ain't killed them. If they could have killed us, they would have killed us. So it's not like once you do the research on a lot of this shit, you see what I'm saying? You understand who you really are to this. And then when I realized, like you said, I won't even play with that about a lot of things. You know why? Because I know when the time comes for it to be a part of that, I've seen healing. I'm gonna go mental health, right? Let's go talk DMT and shrooms. How about that? Because when it came to mental healing, I was on some not give a fuck shit. I like when Katrina hit, my mental health wasn't right. So because I was young, I was like maybe 16 or something like that. When Katrina hit, I didn't know if my people was alive or not for like 3 months. I thought everybody was dead. My mental health wasn't in the right place, so I did a lot of bad things. My mental health, but nobody cares. You see, there's no excuse. You see how you don't give a fuck right now. Right? But my mental health was, that's a lot of young men in that age bracket with that being programmed through the frequency of the music that's saying this is how you're supposed to get it, and this is how it's normal, and they're not being exposed to all these other things that we should have a conversation about, because now we're being exposed to different kind of things. Why isn't the music? Why does everything demonize African spirituality and all and gemstones and everything else? Meanwhile, these white folks getting rich on everything they told you not to fuck. They told you to go buy some diamonds. They're over there in Africa right now fighting this man over his stones. That's what the war is about. We don't want to have this conversation. The war in the Congo is about everybody, Europe and America is trying to fight their gemstones.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? The only way we know this is to have those conversations. You see what I'm saying? So centers is funny because we're talking about science and African spirituality. The biggest part of centers that I like is the goddess. I think her name was Anna. Her role was amazing when she was talking about the High John the Conqueror. We talking about the healing and some mental health. Study High John the Conqueror, man. Because and they gave a shout out, like they did homework with that whole thing with the energy and frequency, even with the dance. When you're doing DMT and shrooms, it was like they really experienced this. You can tell when this man wrote this movie, he's been to the spirit world. I know Ryan Coogler had done DMT or shrooms. You see what I'm saying? And that is also how you reboot your system. I don't know if you want to get there or not, but when I do DMT or shrooms, it really booted my system.
Listen,
you see what I'm saying?
I've never done it, but I'm gonna tell you how divine the creator is, bro. I promise you on God. I don't know if he on here or not, but shout out to a lawyer, man, because I literally was just on a conversation before getting ready for the show. And part of the show part of our conversation literally was talking about shrooms, because he's connected to some people who really are deep in that space. And so I'm one of them people, I don't like to speak on nothing that I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Because I know what I know, and that's it. That's good enough for me. But just like you asked me something about with Islam, I didn't know that, you know what I'm saying? But some people that I feel like that aren't secure in who and what they are, they're going to put on and act like they're something or they know something that they don't, just to kind of make themselves feel or fit in with other people. I'm never going to do that. I'm comfortable with who I am, whether I know something or not, or I could do something or not. I'm going to be real about it, because that's, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like there's nothing better than a person who's real, you know what I'm saying? So for me, you know, I don't know a lot about shrooms. I don't even know what you're talking about with DMT and all that, but I want to learn, you know what I'm saying? And it's funny, that's why I said it's divine, because I just got off a call before we got on the show talking about the same thing, bro. So that's divine. Like, that's not nothing that happens accidentally. So if you want to tap into it, man, hey, so that way I can learn a little bit, because you know,
it's crazy because when I started coming to my healing process, right? I said I've been through all sorts of weird shit. We all have, right? Like my story ain't no unique than the next one, I'm saying. But in the process of me going through everything I went through, my healing process was one, meeting the right woman. That was already like it's very important. Like when you meet the right woman that's really on some healing shit, and they destroyed that. They're trying to destroy that. The whole divine feminine thing, that's what they're trying to destroy, when they knew it was a science experiment when they did a lot of things with the music back then. You just said this. Now they're doing it to the girls. Now they have to promote this because it might be music to some people that's in a certain age bracket, but remember, to the younger generation, it's programming. So that the whole divine feminine or like, I ain't got no mama, I ain't got no grandma. You see what I'm saying? Where do you get it from? You get it from your spouse. You're supposed to. But right now we're at war on all fronts because the system, the programming, the frequencies is telling you to hate me.
Right.
Not love me. They're telling you to hate me. Nigga, I hate you, you hate me. I hate her, she hate her, she hate.
Yeah.
We hate it. That's the frequency programming. You don't find that suspicious?
Well, the person that just got kicked out of the lab is somebody who clearly like hates themselves, because like I said, if you coming into an environment that's all peaceful, I'm looking at all those comments, everything is love. Every single thing in there is love, reciprocity, and each one teach one, everybody sharing knowledge, information, you know what I'm saying, everything. And then you got that one jackass that come in here with that. So that's why I'm like, I ain't gonna call their name out because they could be doing that and try to get somebody to come look them up or something. So no, I'm not gonna give you no shine, but I'm gonna let you know, like, we don't see you, like we don't rock like that, and you ain't gonna be in here. You know what I'm saying, with that foolishness.
It don't matter. Like I ain't professing to be shit. Like, my experience as a black man, this is what I do. Now, what I've learned in my experience as a black man helped me from those experiences. This is how I live my life. My experiences of bloodlines. When you study your DNA, when you study your bloodline, because that's very important, and you're doing generational trauma and you're healing generational trauma, that's also plays into the whole mental health thing. That also goes to the shroom thing. That also goes to what you're listening to. I listen to frequencies and drums. I know it sounds crazy because sometimes it sounds cliche, like, oh, you niggas just trying to look cool playing the drums. Niggas don't know drums is really therapeutic. Like, drums is really healing. If you study, but if you study, and that's why I don't be worried about shit, because when people can tell you, as soon as they open their mouth, they show you how dumb they are. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? I can give you 1,000 examples, but once you do the research and understand that Benin is so technologically advanced, the Bronze Kingdom, bronze, right? When we understand what bronze is, it eats up bacteria, highest vibrational metals, bronze, brass, copper is like 85% copper, 15% zinc. It also eats bacteria. They also use it for healing. Like I just said, bacteria and killing viruses. If that wasn't enough, the frequency, when they're playing the drums, they're getting vibration sitting in a brass throne. I can show you the throne if you think I'm just...
Well, you know, drums carry a very powerful, you know, as well with communication. That chair is dope with communication with, you know, spirits too, man. That's why they outlaw drums, you know, in the plantation and, you know, all that stuff, because they knew that we were invoking the spirits of the gods, you know, and the ancestors, man. So that within itself, not only is it healing, but it also, you know, we're summoning and we're invoking, you know, the power of the gods.
So frequency, going back to that shroom thing though, it's weird to me when I was coming up, because like I said, I came into spiritual system through Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Florida, but I was kind of raised in Mississippi. So it was like, I got into it through, I guess, you know what I'm saying, the stuff that is in the TVs and stuff now. I'm right there beside New Orleans. We were seeing this for real, you know what I'm saying? So it's cool seeing it now. Like in Sinners, I think that was a beautiful movie. The frequency, when you're taking shrooms or you're doing DMT, we're supposed to connect this with the African spirituality. We always have. We act like this. We're missing. It's a missing link. Everything that you know, like you said, each one teach one. It's a missing link, because I used to think that the elders was already into this shit. I was like, yo, this brother's into this. I know you did this, because if you are Charlie Batala, all you got to do is go to the beach. Go to the beach on shrooms. I guarantee you'll go see a Batala personally. You will see a Batala exposure. If you go to the beach and you sit on the beach and you meditate on that water, you will find yourself in the center of the ocean, and the only thing between you and like anything is sky and water. It's a terrifying feeling. It's very humbling. It's terrifying.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I gotta share this because this is the second synchronicity alignment thing that happened. So I was trying to get my dog on one of my t-shirts to wear on the show, and I couldn't get it right in time, and I was running behind. So I was like, you know what? Let me just rock the another one. So I ended up rocking my Emoja t-shirt, right? So it's like, and then you talking about the ocean and going to talk about Obatala. I'm not. Today is Obatala Day, also, by the way. And when you talk about ocean on the calendar, Ocean 85. So that ain't no coincidence, man. That's dope. That's deep.
Man, like we're moving in phases. It's not. I used to think that, yo, I got this new information. I got this. Sometimes it's the frequency that's hitting us. Malachi York was putting us on this. Sometimes the frequency that hit us, especially when you got your locks, and the frequency that hit you, get that ringing in your ear. The frequency is gonna hit you, and now I need to find my people. Same shit with turtles, same shit with all sorts of shit. Fish, Abatala, right? I mean, Umoja, right? Fish. They have this thing where they ping and they go back to the same location to go mate and everything else. We have the same thing. We're the only thing that's in, like, really in nature. We're natural. You know what I mean?
It's echolocation. Echolocation.
Echolocation. That I mean, now I'm not a professor. We're just having a friendly. We're having a brother conversation. So I ain't saying I know anything, but from my experience, when I'm doing, Dr. Kalundi is amazing. Dr. Kalundi is amazing when you're talking about the book and the wisdom and experience of doing 10 grams and better, going to see going to the void, going to go see God herself. Get you shrooms, because shrooms is one of the things, like, anytime, think about it. Let's talk about it. Harriet Tubman was on shrooms. Most of those indigenous people that we're talking about were on shrooms. That's how do you think she did what she did? If you're on shrooms, you can hunt better. If you're on shrooms, you can work out better. They know this because that's why they manipulate everything. They manipulate the music. You don't think they manipulated our spiritual medicines? That's why you have LSD. Everything was to take from what we already had and make their own version of it so they can make money off it. Yeah. So shrooms and DMT are plants. You take these plants in a safe environment, find you in a spiritual environment. Like, I love doing shrooms at the Bambay. People be thinking, look, I'm not gonna Shane go home, you know what I'm saying? I be feeling it. You can see the deities, and it'd be beautiful to be when you I thought everybody was already doing it. Like, think about it. You at the Bambay, you feeling the drums. You're on shrooms. And you're on shrooms, you see what I'm saying? And you're seeing spirits, and you look over and you're talking to the tree, and the tree talk about, yeah, I've been doing, I ain't seen nothing this dope in a million years. I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You having a conversation. I mean, it sounds silly. And
but I've heard that before. And look, I'm gonna tell you this too, man, because shout out to Wuna, Nikki Love, because we gotta we're doing, you know, I'll get into it towards the end of this because I don't want to like go off track, but I just want to say she's mentioned that before, that she sees trees talk to her all the time, and she doesn't use shrooms, she don't drink, smoke, nothing. But you know, I feel like if you tapped in the source and energy like that, you can have that experience, because I've had experiences like that with nature before without even having no access to never tried shrooms before. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's all about how you are, I feel like, maximizing your potential in your child of guidance. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Child Goddess in the comments to answer God herself. You're daggone right, God herself, the cosmic mother, you know what I'm saying? Like Mother Earth, like all that. Like, you know, this is a mother's house, or a mother's environment here, man. So,
we fall up under the patriarch. Outlaw Tamukawa. Yeah, no, yeah, man, I needed a lot of work. That's why I did it. I didn't actually do it for the rich. I guess that's probably why it worked so good for me, because I was like bugging bad. Mama just died. I had a lot going on, you know what I'm saying? I was the man officially of the family. Like, I had to take care of responsibilities. I had lost a lot. I tried to take care of family. I lost money. I hit rock bottom. I started doing shit I ain't never did before. And then it was like, yo, you know that song Life Bennings? We was like, yo, he started grinding. He was like, yo, at this point in time, he had a guy. I can't remember what song it was. I would listen to it. He was like, yo, if you're gonna save me, please save me. Now's the time. And I just started.
I want to ask you. I want to interrupt, but something jumped in my head. I wanted to ask you a question, because this was a conversation I just had last week too. Because you said something that resonated with me, and you said when I hit rock bottom, you mentioned all the things that was going on. So me personally, that's something that, you know, I've done before too. Unfortunately, I hit rock bottom, and for me, I feel like that's either gonna make you or it's gonna break you, right? So I want to just ask, if you don't mind, like, how did you? Because clearly it didn't break you. So then, so what was that experience like for you? Because for me, that was the time when I realized, F it all, I don't give a F. I'm going all out, and it is what it is. You know, either it's gonna work or it's not. You know what I'm saying? Because what's gonna happen? Hell, the worst that can happen is I could die with shit. That ain't gonna be as painful as what I'm experiencing right now. So therefore, you can't get me no lower in a darker, or, you know what I'm saying, more hurtful or painful place. So therefore, nothing else it can ever really touch me for real, because I done already experienced at that point in my life the worst of what life could give me. I took it. You know what I'm saying? I took it on the chin. And I got up off the mat and I started swinging back, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's literally what I was sharing, you know, with the young kings this week in regards to that, because it came back to a quote that I used as that session's opener, is like, weak minds go through tough times, strong minds grow through tough times. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that was the toughest time in my life, but it made me grow. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I wanted to ask you, when you say that you went through those tough times and you know, everything, you hit rock bottom, how was that growth process for you? Because I know what that did for me, and how that if I don't go through that hard time, I don't think I'm sitting here talking to you today. Not in this capacity.
I'll say most definitely. Pressure make diamonds. You see what I'm saying? Number one, I'll say that. In short, you know what I'm saying? My mom named me Pressure.
Right, you said a lot. But I'll say more.
I can sum that up because Malachi's York, right? My mom named me a funny name. My name means pressure. You see what I'm saying? You name somebody something. When you name somebody something, kind of, that's why you after spirituality or indigenous spirituality, the naming is very important. My name is, she was in love with gemstones, so she named me Pressure. You see what I'm saying? So it's like my that's what, you know what I'm saying? It's metaphor for a lot of other shit. So, but in saying that, I'm an Aries too. So we're spiritual warriors. Like, it wasn't some shit I wasn't already designed and built for anyway. I'm the internal flame. I'm always gonna be flamed on. You see what I'm saying? So for me, rock bottom is just either I'm gonna die or I'm not, and I'm always not gonna die. Like, if it's whatever I gotta do, it's gonna get done at that point in time. You can drop me up in Afghanistan, I'm gonna get it done. The details aren't really important because, like I said, the war was on all of us. I'm not individually important at that point. Like, the war on black young boys, that's why I think it was a book, or the war to destroy the mind of the black male. Not all these books that they were putting out in those 80s and early 90s was telling you, like you said, Malachi, was telling you, and all these other elders that we can't remember because we lost them and forgot about them because we don't take the shit serious, was mental health telling you, this is what they're gonna do to you. This is what they're gonna do to you. We wrote it on scrolls, on walls and concrete, and all. They're telling you this is what they're gonna do to you. But guess what? You're gonna remember who you are. And going back to that Mississippi culture, I was always raised fuck how it turned out. You know what I'm saying? As long as I'm here tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? If I can survive that, you know what I'm saying? It's a culture to survive, and it's sad that we come from that culture. But when you're talking about New Orleans and you're talking about Gulfport, we're always on survival mode. You feel me? And down there, they lock you up for anything. I got locked up when I was 13. I did 15 years. Nigga, you gave me more time. I'm not 15 years old yet. So I was raised with concrete and steel. So now I like concrete and steel. I like stones and gold and metal. It's always, you know what I'm saying, as above, so below. You either gonna go up life, right? Balance. You're either gonna go through the hard times ahead of time or beforehand, one way or the other. I went through all my shit before, which gave us the application of wisdom to understand how this at this age of our life. One, the kids ain't got to make the same mistake. Barnabas, blessed is he who learned how to walk by watching somebody else fall. We need these conversations to learn from each other, because we learn from your mistakes. My son don't got to make the same mistakes I made. I made those mistakes because I didn't have a daddy. I had a Tupac. I didn't have a Tupac. I needed a daddy. My mom is all warrior, but she can't, like, she can be all the warrior she wants to be, but she don't know order and you know what I'm saying, structure that a man needed. Right. So that's black boys. Everybody say my shit's not unique at all. And they knew that when programming out there with this music that's telling us, I understand how you feel, this is what you're supposed to do. That's what the program said. I listen to a lot of shit when I get back in the day, like a lot of drill back in the day or whatever, right? And the shit telling the niggas the dumbest shit ever, ride around with a gun. These niggas was getting locked up with guns and don't even use them because it's against the law. Back then it was against the law to just have guns and shit like that. You out here they're telling you to break every law impossible to get yourself pulled over. Play loud music, have the nice big tires, have the gun on they tell you how to come, man, fuck that, they're going to catch me. I had a gun on the seat. And in real time, these motherfuckers, like they are playing in our face, laughing at niggas because they programmed you to hate each other, like, I'm programmed to kill each other. We're pretty good at killing each other. These crackers is waiting to fuck us off the map. It's 8 ball, remember, right? The whole point of the 8 ball, right? So all this training that we've been trained and programmed to use against each other, we should be using this as like now that we've all woke up to use this against the system. And a lot of people are still scared of that aspect. So the program is very part to the mental health aspect of it, frequencies, energies. Also, Vajra the Conqueror, that helped me a long way. Of course, you know, I'm into the herbs and I got, like I say, I'm from Mississippian culture, so I'm not an Ifa per se. I love Ifa, respect Ifa, but I'm more hoodoo. I'm a hoodoo child. You see what I'm saying? I'm a child of Oya, but I got a lot of stuff going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how you trying to conquer? Huh?
Nah, I ain't mean to. I'm just saying, but remember, it's all connected though. You know what I mean? Like everything is connected.
I say.
So it's like, you know, whether it's hoodoo, voodoo, Ifa, you know what I'm saying? The Kemetic sciences, like it's all connected. Igbo, you know what I mean? Like whatever. Like, Buddhism, Taoism, all of it. It's all connected, man. Like,
I love the way the way Ifa is, like the real order of things. I don't be wanting down. One day I was at a band. She said, "What house are you from?" I was like, "Hold up." So I like the order thing. So I know like there's an etiquette of yourself, and I like that. I like when we have the school of thoughts make us have an etiquette, and we carry ourselves like, oh, I know what them niggas is on. Them niggas is on this. Them niggas right there. Oh, what's up? What's up, God? Them niggas is on this kind of science. He niggas, they like when I came around you on an event, like I got one of my favorite bracelets from you. Y'all had the Benin bronze bracelets and everything else. That stuff straight from Africa. People don't understand because they don't know, and if they know it, they'll appreciate it more. You see what I'm saying?
I got
back to that Vajra the Conqueror.
I got all that stuff from Ghana. All the stuff that I had in my vendor booth. Literally, I bought. Well, some of it I bought in Nigeria, but most of it I bought in Ghana. And I got a plug too, man. So if you ever want to like order some more, you know, just let me know. We definitely make that happen.
I need more stuff. We should be community, right? Like where I'm at, I think we should like make more well springs. You remember how we had in Orlando, right? Now we lost it because when you're involved with people that play like they're for the culture, and I've had this kind of like this situation a couple times where it looks good, but they're not really in the culture. You lose out. But and I say that to say we should have more people that's in the culture that have these things, and you see what I'm saying? So if we well springs, we should invest in our own well springs and stuff of that nature. That sell herbs, that sell shea butters, that sell African clothes, that's fly as shit that we don't know about, a whole nother market. China done already exposed the market of all this fake shit. So why aren't we capitalizing on it, on our fashion and everything else? They done told you all their jewelry fake. I know what jewelry they're not gonna say fake. The Richard Stone ain't fake. You see what I'm saying? So I know what ain't fake. When I just bought these pants. I can't remember the vendor I got it from, but a goddess straight from you, like it's connections. Everything is connected, like you said. So one thing about it, just being a child of oil and understand interchange and exchange, currency, how we do business with each other, all that is important if we're gonna be real about the community. Because like I said, when we heal the community, we're healing mental health right there, because we're having conversations once a week. Like the Talim is also to address community issues, or I think Juma is also to address, and one part of it is also to address community issues. And I'm not, like I say, I can always go back to how I was raised, but that's actually, like I say, an indigenous thing in all of our cultures, that they've demonized everything, so we don't know these things no more. And that's if we could talk, hey man, you don't have to go shoot nobody in the face. Hey man, you ain't got to go rob nobody. Why the only rocks they tell you to sell is crack? Why they tell you you can sell rubies? Why they ain't tell you can go? Why they ain't tell you that you're in the land of the plumed serpent? This land is just as holy as Africa. If we stop kneeling to everybody and asking for, oh, somebody said me, and realizing that we them right here, everybody else respect us, and now we can do business. Like you said, I'm going over there, I'm getting these clothes and everything else because y'all not wearing them, y'all not using these stones, y'all not using this technology. So we got it over here, and we're using this technology. You think we're not gonna use it? You think we're not fighting back?
Right.
I love Ibrahim Touré, but how many Ibrahim Tourés do we have over here? You don't know about it. They don't want to talk about it. They keep that shit covered up. They can tell you all day and tomorrow, oh yeah, the Olmecs buried their heads. Oh yeah, they buried them, or you buried them. You can bury it. You can bury it all day, like you say, star seeds. You can bury it and don't realize I'm a whole seed. So, no, man. The mental health is everything. Like it's everything. When you say everything, it goes so many different directions. I love it. I love that you're taking time to talk to kids, to Black youth, especially in Florida. When the programming in Florida is when they're trying to tell you, it's telling you all those dumbest shit.
Yeah,
I guess just slow out this motherfucker. But the system is actually like people not paying attention to everything. How like you said, the paid government. This is ping ponging how whoever has the money and telling them what to do is going to do, and it's helping us regardless. I don't know who's pulling the strings. Everything is working in our favor. I don't understand what you're talking about. I'm seeing it in real time.
That part.
Everything you said that we've been reading these holy tablets and holy scrolls is happening right now. Me and Rod been talking for 5 or 6 years. Man, I'm like, damn, Rod, do you realize every year something that you done said, this is playing itself out play by play by play. The matriarch's real. The matriarch's real itself because the same time Empress Redbird was on her tour, Boomy, Empress Boomy, she got her inauguration. You see what I'm saying? It was gorgeous. Like people don't, because they don't understand what the fuck going on. They don't understand what's going on in the land. They don't understand what's really going on out here. So it's like boom, they think everything.
The end of an era, the cycle, and end of an era.
You don't even realize. They don't even know. Like all sorts of shit really happening.
Yeah. Even what you just mentioned, Oya. You know, Oya is the goddess of transformation, but she don't get it. None of the deities ain't nothing to play with, because a lot of people I don't know how deep the knowledge of, understanding is of Oshun, but a lot of people think Oshun is not powerful because she's depicted as sensual and, sexual and elegant and, you know what I'm saying? Like all these beautiful things that are about her, but Oshun will F you up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so will all the rest of them. But, yeah, yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. And it's like you got the Gallaudet and everything over there, man. That's what's up. She's the warrior. You know what I mean? Like she's the she ain't having it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, but she's also the goddess of transformation. The goddess of transformation, the goddess of the winds, the goddess of the marketplace, the exchange of currency. All those are attributions to Ye. Death to the old, birth and life to the new. And so I got a special relationship with her too, man. So I know in regards to the power of who and what she is alone. She's a force. And so when you look at X-Men, Storm is created after Ye Oya. Like that character is her. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all of our stories and histories, all in the entertainment and media, it's just that they superimpose like the hippie looking Jesus type, figures on top of what should be, a Patap or, or Batala or, you know what I mean? Or, so it's like all those things are all ours. It's just that they just took it and polluted it, you know what I'm saying, and watered it down to reprogram it into us, sell it back to us. Like my brothers in the streets, like it's like you got some stepped on work, you know what I'm saying? So those who know, they know, you know what I'm saying. You ain't got that pure raw, you got that stepped on, So it's like that's what we got, that stepped on society and culture.
It's a book you got to get, man. It's called, I can't remember, but it's called From Superman to Man. From Superman to Man. Look that book up, brothers. It's amazing. It's about Ogun. I thought the first person I ever talked to was a lay, but no, the first researcher I ever met was Ogun. But I tell you, bro, that's where they got Superman from. Ogun. Think about it. Ogun is Superman. When you're looking at X-Men, when you're looking at not Apocalypse, even Apocalypse got him from Egypt. But if you're looking at Juggernaut, that's the Olmec. When you're looking at the Sentinel, those are Olmecs. The Olmecs are always gonna be the bad guys coming. You know what I'm saying? With the help. They've been playing with that Olmec shit in our face way too long for us not to have that conversation. Yeah. And the reason I bring all these things up, because why these things are so important, because they must have thought much of was important too. Because once you look into Olmec statues, the Olmecs are doing yoga. The Olmecs are doing science. The Olmecs are, wait a minute. We want to be into healing and everything else. Then why am I not doing what the ancestors did? The ancestors dealt with the roots. These ancestors deal with these stones. These ancestors deal with these vibrations, and we think it's cool when we see the people with the little sound bones made out of brass, right? But the thing is, I just told you that the homie in Benin had a whole civilization made out of bronze. If you understand this, if you understand that the sound bowl is not just cute, it's a real science to it, right? We're talking about the woman, but the bell and the sound bowl is actually representative of the woman, like the whole thing. You see what I'm saying? When you're looking at the bell represents the woman. The sound bowl is vibration of the universe. Like, if you're listening to it.
Yeah.
So that's a spiritual tool. Hey, baby.
I never even thought about that. Even in what you just saying that, I never thought about that. But I'm gonna take it another step. I wish I had one in here. I don't got my ring on. But even what you saying that I'm thinking about the Ankh. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it, you have the bowl, which would be, to me, metaphorically for the vagina. You know what I'm saying? And then the tool, the stick, or whatever you call it that you use, will be symbolic of the penis. You know what I'm saying? So that still is the, you know what I'm saying? To me, that's literally, that to me is like the Ankh, you know, and the masculine and feminine principles and energies.
And then you have the Vajra. All these are spiritual tools where we out here distracted. You just said, it's funny. You just said the Ankh.
There you go. So now look at that. Look, pull that back up. Can you pull that back up? The sound bowl. I mean, so now when you just said the sound bowl, I promise you on everything. My first eye, mind's eye, third eye, whatever you want to call it. I saw the Ankh because I saw the bowl as the top of the Ankh. You know what I'm saying? As the circle, and then I saw the stick that, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what you call that thing, as the phallus and the penis. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the queen. How you doing? Lafayette. How you doing? So yeah, that's dope, bro. That's dope.
Man, no, it's spiritual science. Once we get into that spiritual science, I mean, we can talk about it all day. I can have fun talking with you with it. Like I said, you can't have a conversation with everybody if they don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But when you're talking about, like you said, the key, because that's how you came in, right? Through the woman, right? This is the woman. If at the end of the day, we can have that conversation. It's like, oh, we don't want to talk about it as a vagina. Nigga, that's how you got here. Let's have that conversation. Like I guarantee you, everybody that came through this right here. So this, when you talk about the Vajra, like you said, there's different aspects. This is ancient, powerful tool when we talk about spiritual work, and that's a whole nother topic. But this is also a tool of pressure. Like after you've done your everybody's been hurt, but once you start getting into, now I want to heal, now you start getting these spiritual tools. Like I said, get you some stones. What stone can help me on my healing process? Amethyst is amazing stone for your healing process. Rose quartz is, I know everybody makes it sound like, oh, rose quartz is just, no, it's actually an amazing rhodochrosite. It's an amazing stone. Rhodochrosite is like for trauma, that's all sorts of stuff. Like, but my main go-to was amethyst at the time. Now after,
my bad. I had a spirit just tap me with a little telepathic thought. Can you share that last artifact that you just held up? The one, not the but the one after.
This is the Vajra, or the indestructible diamond. Yes, the indestructible diamond.
So I don't think I've ever seen one of them before. Didn't know what it means. But can you hold it for one second? Because I want to share something about what how deep our who and what we are is. So if you're looking at this, you're looking at a cross, right? So I don't want y'all to come in and think I'm going Jesus on you, but at the same time, that's a cross, right? So that cross, when you look up the oldest depictions of like the ancient Sumerians and the Anunnaki and all them, they all had a cross on their centerpiece, right? Now, let's really go deep with it. So that cross, when you look at any form, and mind you, this is coming, y'all. I'm doing the work. When you look at any form, and I challenge anybody in the audience that's watching, look up crop circles. And every crop circle that you will find, I guarantee you will somehow, somewhere see a cross in there. And then on top of that, the reason why you're going to see that cross is because that cross is really like a depiction of the symbolism of God. And now we're going into ancient Kemet. We're going deep into this because we're talking about the sun. We're also talking about the oldest beings to come to this planet. But what's even deeper than that, and you probably know this, when you're talking about the cross, you're talking about Nibiru. Because Nibiru crosses the universe just like a cross crosses each other in interface.
My bad, I'm over here listening. I told you I'm into that Dogon thing, so anytime you say somebody, I'm big on the Dogon.
It's deep. I'm telling you, because I'm looking at it, I'm like, yo, that's dope. And mind you, because I got all this research that I've been doing for the last few weeks to put these.
The Ankh is for travel, like the Merkaba. How was the Merkaba? And it's funny because we talk about trauma. The trauma we would say comes from the street shit, right? But why is the street shit foundation, and it's also on the flip side, the spiritual aspect you're trying to get to? Wait a minute. What is this? Ain't that the Star of David? Ain't that the 360 we were just talking about? Ain't that everything that we say we stand for right now to this day? Ain't that the all these are the tools? Ain't that a mudra? We know what mudras are? They were telling us we were gangs because we were throwing these signs up and all these different things, right? These were mudras. This is stuff that we've been doing since forever. And once we understand what a mudra is, now we're not throwing it for, oh, destructive purposes to destroy my brother. Now I'm throwing it for energy purposes, to destroy these demons. You see what I'm saying? Now we're doing, understand what these mudras are, understand what these tools are. These are tools. We're talking about healing. If we go, now we teach you something else. So instead of being distracted with dumb shit, because literally they're poisoning your mind, programming your mind with poison. Now programming yourself with spiritual technology, because now you can go anywhere. Nigga, I'll see you on the other side because I don't know where we're gonna go. This shit is epic. Like I be riding my dragon, finding out some new shit every day. You learn from the cradle to the grave.
Yes, sir.
You see when I tell you the bell is the divine feminine, the unk is the divine feminine, it's the key. The bell and the bowl represents wisdom. This represents actually destruction. Like I can destroy the universe with this. You see what I'm saying? The dorje, that's why they closed it. Or the dorje is a four-way triton, right? The triton, right? What are we talking about right now? These are all things that we're naturally inclined to all these different things, but they made hate ourselves. They demonic. They. Why do they watch us so hard? Why do they send secret agents into everything we do to destroy everything we do if it wasn't important? Why do they gotta?
Because they're ruler gods. They're not creator gods, and that's the difference.
Ooh, got it. Ooh.
Think about it like this: it's the host and the parasite, right? So any summer cookout you go to, most time we wrapping it up before it get too late because the mosquitoes gonna come out there. And what are they doing? They're feeding on our blood. Can they survive without us? Hell no. But with us, yes. So that's what we talk about. And that's what we're dealing with right now, that we're seeing going through an extraction and extinction process, is the parasites are getting dismissed up out of here because the creator gods are here. And they are making sure that those ruler gods are out of here. And that's what we're seeing in real time.
Bro, listen, you just said something there, and we can't fast forward that. You said creator guys and conqueror guys. There's a big difference. We thinking that our guys is the only one that exists. No, man, this shit is infinite. And it's funny you say that because Conqueror, we own the land of the plumed serpent. In America, it's land of. I know that Conqueror's body is still, it's so big that we don't understand it. We're working on it all the time. But Conqueror of that time, his body is so big it crosses America. I don't have to prove it right now. It's geology type shit that I can go into a whole nother time. But the body is still there. All these ancient artifacts is built around it. We call them whatever you want to call them. The prime example are the Olmec heads, because when they're dating these things, it's going crazy. The year way before BC anything. They got Olmec statues beside Cuba in the ocean that you can't say it fell under there because it's perfectly structured. It was built there. What are we talking? It's a lot of stuff we need to have these conversations, because we don't even understand that we're in a fishbowl and the motherfuckers just got to turn this motherfucker upside down. We're not understanding nothing that was going on right now. We're playing into their matrix. That there's a lot of real shit going on. That's why the frequency won't even let the planes fly. How many plane crashes are you hearing right now? You think this? You don't find that suspicious? You said everything is on this frequency shit. So once you start, I know it sounds goofy, but once you start realizing what all these different technologies are, bells and everything else, and use them in the right way and tapping into it and stop with the bullshit. Why do you think the Christians use the bell? Why do you think the Liberty Bell? Why do you think they hide all the bells? They buried it. They found just as many buried bells as they found Olmec heads. Yeah. Don't let it go. Did you everything is on frequency? Yeah. And the answer is telling you this. Like, so what's the first thing they did? They controlled the frequency, the sound waves, the programming. Yes, that's very, man. We underplay that way more than we should. But once we understand what frequency is and start listening to different drums, or going to these programs, or going to different events, or going out in nature and listening to the frequency of the humming of the birds and the damn trees and everything else, that's when it is to talk to them. It ain't just going out there and talking. Really, when you go and talk to a tree, you ain't really talking. It's just give you an example to go out there and listen. Really, you're supposed to go out there and listen. Just shut the fuck up. When you're on shrooms or something, you really ain't doing too much talking. You're listening.
Yeah.
So all of it is spiritual technology.
Yeah, just like meditation, man. And you know, like I said, I love where the conversation went, because a lot of these you know, topics and things that we're talking about are all kind of like preludes to content that I'm already in the work of putting together. But when you start talking about those planes crashing, that's because we're dealing with multiple spheres. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and I'm a nerd, a self-proclaimed nerd, so I take pride in like reading and studying a lot. So it's like, you know, when we're talking about what you were just saying in regards to those planes crashing, it goes back to something that we were talking about like on 2 previous podcasts. The first one was with Professor Kaba, and then I did a live last Friday, and I was talking about this element called neutrinos, right? So when you talk about, you know, these elements with these neutrinos, or not just neutrinos, but just when we talk about spheres, right? Our you know, system in terms of like the planetary system, we're living in a star nursery, right? So you talk about the Orion Nebula and Orion's Belt. All these things are connected into like what's happening now. So now we're talking about these spheres. So, you know, the planet Earth has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 different spheres that are above our planet. So you have the troposphere, the stratosphere, the mesosphere, and then the exosphere. So now when you're talking about, or we're talking about all these elevations in frequency and the way the planet herself is rising in vibrational frequency and all that, yes, that's rising, and so is the consciousness of the children of this planet, right, is rising. And as it rises, everything is being thrown off, because we're literally in the middle of this whole, you know, precessional equinox, you know what I'm saying, like with this, the changing of the cycles, right? And as that happens, you're seeing a lot of changes happening in all these spheres that are above the planet. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when you're talking about how all those planes are crashing, like, it's because so many things are out of whack, because we're in the process of transmission and transformation into elevation. You know what I'm saying? It's deep. And so this is one of those things where I'm going to do those shows. They're going to be like presentation style shows, so I can actually share my screen and show everybody like how deep this is and where we're going with it, because it's a real thing. And that's why that's happening. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a lot of the technology that normally operates seamlessly is not going to operate seamlessly no more, because there's so many different shifts and polarities on so many different levels, spheres, and dimensions. You know what I'm saying? So it's real deep, man. Like, it's real deep.
Tallahassee, whenever you come to Tallahassee, I'm gonna show you some shit gonna trip you out. They got I think the world's biggest magnet down here. Like, I guess the natural magnet is just in the ground. You see what I'm saying? Like, we're not paying attention to what's around us. We got pyramids all around us in Florida. Pyramids. We talk about frequencies and everything else, and they're finding all this new information out, right, about the pyramids in Egypt. Now, when we're gonna have a conversation about the pyramids in Florida, or the pyramids in Mexico, or the pyramids in Ohio, or the pyramids in Mississippi, or the pyramids in New Orleans, or the pyramids in Alabama, or the pyramids. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have these conversations, because once we have those conversations, and I'm telling you, that shit gets so real to the point where Florida State found some shit, but what they found, they had to cover it up. I'm talking about last year. I ain't talking about the old school shit. They just found the oldest woman bones or whatever, and it was a black woman. Of course, they're not gonna tell you that, because when they found it, they put it up. But it's not hard to tell when you find somebody. I don't care what you say. The hair don't lie. When you're looking at the ancient, they lie so much about everything just to lie to you. We should never listen to anybody that don't look like us about anything. The second you listen to anybody tell you about anything, that shit you've already lost. They're gonna tell you what the fuck they want to tell you about yourself. Study yourself and you'll find God. But man, no, man, they have deities all throughout Mexico and Mesoamerica that look just like you and me on the walls. Women, men, priests doing yoga, doing spiritual medicine, doing all these different things that right now, that's, if you think about it, if they say you've been stripped from your culture, what's been stripped exactly? We don't ask what's been stripped. You see what I'm saying? So once we know what's been stripped, why don't we apply what's been stripped back to the source? Plant medicine is most definitely one of the things that's been stripped. Our frequency, like you said, the music, the frequency, the griots, because that's what it was. Griots was what's the word for it? Molested by the culture of the Roman entertainment system. Griot and Romans had two different. I mean, if you understand what the whole Roman thing was to distract you from what the fuck we doing to you. The griot was a storyteller to tell you the folklore or anything else. Like those were paid. That was a job back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You mix it to.
No, my bad. That whole what you said about the Roman thing, like that's the Coliseum. You know, that's what that is. So that's why sports and entertainment and all that so you know, forced upon us in the society, because it's the Coliseum aspect from Rome, where they put, you know, the gladiators and all that on the center of the Coliseum floor to go to war with each other, so all the spectators, you know what I'm saying, but all the time they're not paying attention to how those Roman empires or whatever they call them people were pretty much robbing the people, you know what I'm saying, keeping the people at bay as slaves, you know what I'm saying, but they weren't able to really pay attention to what was going on because they had been conditioned to be sheeple and, you know what I'm saying, be indoctrinated by the entertainment factor, you know what I'm saying? So that's exactly what
you're talking about right now. What year are you talking about right now? Everything you just said. Everything you just said. What year are you talking about right now?
Well, I don't know what year. I can't quote it. The year the Romans and all that fools was going on, but I damn sure know it's all correlated to what's happening right now. So
you said earlier how everything is everywhere all at once. Like that movie, Everywhere All at Once. Everything is happening. Everything is working. When you past, present, and future, like that dance in Sinners, past, present, and future, everything is intertwined, like the DNA, like those two serpents going into your whole. That's the DNA. Everything's intertwined. Everything working. So, man, we can go all day with this, bro. Like I say, shit, it's amazing, and I don't want to go too far with it because I know we can sound crazy as hell. But once you do the research or do the experience, just going out there and doing the work, then everybody can have the conversation. And sometimes it's just levels to the shit. Some people, they might not have did the work yet. Some people just come in. Sometimes when you come to this, I've realized in this consciousness thing, there's so many different levels to it. So when you come in and you just know everything because you got flooded with a bunch of information, not realizing you were flooded with the information on that Black Obsidian phone because they needed to distract you. So they gave you a bunch of useless information and a bunch of outdated information. You see, we don't understand that some information is useless information. All information isn't even valid. Some information is designed to the first thing they say in the order is, y'all worry about the messenger. Don't be worried about the messenger as much as you should be worried about the message. And we lose it all because first they did was make the messenger the star now, hypothetically, young Pharaoh. Then when they kidnap him, do everything and make him crazy, we did we lose the message? Rashid Jamal, they make him look crazy. Did we lose the message? Are we gonna lose the message because we lost his brother in the physical? Are we gonna lose the message? Malachi York, are we gonna lose the message? Because the message, if you look at what the application was, you know what I'm saying, was presenting, you saw men out here in gardens. Think about it. This is what these niggas mad about. Hold on, let's have this conversation. You're mad at niggas who going out here building pyramids, building their own community, minding their business, having functions in here doing for themselves in the garden. This is what y'all are mad at. This every time they're mad at us, this is what they're mad at. You do know that, right? This is the biggest enemy of all times to see a black man with some land. Black Wall Street, prime example. Rosewood, prime example. We can go all day. But overstaying that, let's just that should be studied a little bit more than we having a conversation. The biggest threat is seeing you with land and seeing you being fertile with the land. Even though you might not have anything, you're going to do something great with it. You're going to cause gold in the land. So, man, I don't know. We can go all day with that. I know that it sounds crazy, but man, we can go all day with this and tomorrow, man. Did you have any other topics you wanted to hit on tonight?
It's all good. I'm all for the pouring in, man. That's what I do. So I appreciate the opportunity again. To be on the other side of the booth, man. Instead of the one asking the questions, getting a chance to chop it up and answer some. I did want to leave off with like 2 or 3 quick things.
They will listen to the video later.
It don't matter because either way it goes, I feel like that's something that, you know what I'm saying, if it's for you, rock with it. If it's not, keep it pushing, kick rocks with it. That's how I see it, but whatever. Let me say this one thing, man, because this is something that I don't get into on my show. But don't come with me with that bullshit because I'm a professional chewer. Like I will chew your ass up and spit you out. I've been doing this since the 4th grade. I have fun with it. Like I swear to God. And guess what? And I ain't saying I'm the best, but damn it, my crew that I grew up with were 4 of the best. And if I can hold it down with any of them, I can hold it down with anybody. So therefore, if you want to come in here with that, don't play with me, because I'll put you on the screen and we can get it in. So I'm 50 Cent petty when it comes to that. So y'all be careful who you playing with.
I'll say this.
And I have fun with it.
The perfect word. They slow because, like I say, some people, it's levels to this shit. Some people are slow because when I said sustainability, when you did the event, you talking about how to pay rent. If you're an entrepreneur, I just said, see, if they probably don't know what entrepreneur is, they don't know what a hustler is, they don't know. So when I'm out here selling these items, I make a product. This show is not paying anybody's rent. We're having a conversation again. I don't know if you thought this show was going to change your life, but it should. When you're looking at how to pay your rent, get you a product, stand by your product. You can call it blue magic, call it whatever the fuck you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you stand by your product. In the process of that product, this brother's going to throw an event. This brother we have talking to right here is going to throw an event. He's going to throw an event with a master teacher, a great person. We're going to go to this event. You're going to pay this person. It's called currency because we're passing exchanging. I'm going to give this brother about $50 to go vend. I'm going to vend this brother's event. When I go and vend this brother's event, people are going to see my products because I stand by it. You see what I'm saying? So when I come by my product, it's called each one the same one. We working. It's an energy exchange. If you're just waiting for something and you miss everything, how'd you miss that? So economy, community is how we take care of each other's rent and everything else. Sell some clothes. That's what I started out doing, selling clothes and oils. You see what I'm saying? My bad. I just had to say that, or sell anything. You can do anything, whatever potential you got besides trolling. You know what I'm saying? Right. Niggas waste so much time hating on a Friday night. If you didn't find you something to love, it's safe to do. Right. Go ahead, brother. What's the next one?
Nah, that's it though. Yeah, I just wanted to share that because people do that all too often. Like I said, you gotta be careful because some people got time that day. So you gotta be careful because they might give you what you want, man. You might not be ready for it. So anyway, but I do want to give thanks again, man, for the opportunity to be on the other side of the booth. Because I love doing what I do with asking the questions, but I'm cool with answering them too. Because I feel like, it's reciprocity. And like you said, it's an energy exchange. And it gives the people that follow my channel the opportunity to see or hear different perspectives, I think, that they might not necessarily do, because I take pride in like highlighting the guests, because, you and I was talking about how some other platforms, like certain hosts or certain MCs, whatever, might not necessarily give the guests the runway that they need to take flight. And so for me, I do this because I want to see everybody take flight and everybody fly, because the sun is big enough for all of us to shine under, and nobody's going to outshine that sun. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I've never had it other people shining, because I look at that's me shining. That's just another version or extent, of me. You know what I'm saying? Because we all connected. So as above, so below, as within, so without. So it's like with that, I said the people who are on that low vibrational frequency and the hating and the jealousy and the trolling and all that, I'm going to share something with y'all. We're going to get to the promised land, but everybody ain't going to make it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Professor Pablo. And the ones who came in here with that bullshit, y'all ain't going to make it. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't get to the highest levels of energetic, frequency when you have that hate and malice and maliciousness, in your heart. This is all about pure energy. It's about vibrational frequency elevating, rising as we see it rising in the cosmos and in our universe and our solar system and our planet. We see it collectively rising on the planet with the consciousness of the people, the animals, the nature, the plants. And so every aspect of our planet is going through that elevation process. And therefore, if you're not going to work on yourself to heal and to love and to, be light and to forgive and to, embrace and empower, you're not going to make it to the fifth dimension or the next level, because that's where it's at. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. The creator's not going to allow that type of stuff in the creator's atmosphere. And I feel like, so with all sincerity, those people who came in with the trolling, I do pray that, you find healing, you find love, you find self, because know thyself. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're working on here collectively. You know what I'm saying? And that's what, united we stand, divided we fall. And until we win, and we on our way to the championship. So if you ain't, willing to put in the work within yourself to where you join and amalgamate with the rest of us who are elevating and ascending as masters, then you got to go on and keep it pushing, because you're going to be one of them cows that you see, with the ancient aliens, where the face is lasered off, in the pastures, because that's, you're an experiment at that point, because the rest of us have already, moved on. So I have in the works, I'll go ahead and say it, because I confirmed that I believe both will be there, and I'm looking to get some more, but we're going to also have a virtual celebration for the legacy of my favorite teacher, or one of my favorite teachers and my hero, the Honorable El Hajj Malik El Shabazz. We're going to be doing a virtual tribute live on the African Spirituality Experience on his birthday. I want to say about 10 p.m. So I'll be posting that, and we're going to be blessed with the presence of some masters to be coming through, man. So I'm definitely looking forward to sharing that with you all. That's the two confirmed things that we have in the works, and then I'm still working on a whole lot more. So with that, man, I give thanks for this opportunity, brother. Appreciate you for having me, man, and giving me the opportunity to kind of share some of my little thoughts.
One more thing, give a shout out to like two or three Black-owned businesses.
Shout out to Panther Prince Productions, Professor Kaba's business. Shout out to my lovely goddaughter. Her Instagram is Nia's Beauty, the Chapel hairstylist. My brother just sent me a picture of one of her posts, went viral, man, like 1.6 million, and checked out. So shout out to my goddaughter, dope hairstylist here in the Central Florida area of Wesley Chapel. So that is Nia's Beauty on Instagram. Sorry, Nia's Beauty Bar on Instagram. So shout out to her. That's another one. And then shout out to African Spirituality Experience, man. Sure, we doing a lot for the people, man. So and we do a lot for free too, because this is for the people and for the culture. So shout out to Ashe, because it's bigger than me. It's about we, we stand by the we call Ashe Tribe.
I say. Just hitting the sound bowl. You want to do
one more. Can I add one more, bro? Just one more before I get out of here. I got one more. All right, shout out to Orisha Stone, man. Y'all holler at my brother, man, and get some of them doggone that jewelry, because the jewelry is tough, man. I got a couple of his pieces as well, and that's what this is about. Each one.
I'm inspired. One, I got to get you a piece, so you know what I'm saying. They know it's official. But two,
okay.
I'm a product of the knowledge of Malachi York and Professor Delbert Blair. When he was talking about he said we had to camouflage it, like the ancestors always camouflage our technology as jewelry. When you said we were talking about the ancient Anunnaki or whatever we want to call the ancient Anu and the ancient Olmecs or ancient Africans or whatever, you've never seen that near statue where they didn't have some kind of beads on, turquoise, red coral, ruby.
Yeah.
That's their thing. Even in the more science, they have information of stones. So what we do is the alchemist. The stone's going to do what the stone's going to do. All we do is put it into the art form. We're the ones that do the beating and we don't make it look good. You know what I'm saying? I can't give you what you want, so you can learn to want what I came to give. Now, in the process of using these stones, we also know the chemistry of the stones, and that is, okay, after the healing, after the amethyst, after the rhodocrossite, now I'm on my Conqueror shit. Now I'm on my ruler shit. Now I need some ruby. Now I'm on my Batala shit. Now I need to be pure intentions. Now I need some clear quartz. Now I'm on, wait a minute. I know I'm fire. I'm an Aries, but now I need some calming. Now I need to calm down. Now I need some turquoise and some aquamarine to keep me calm and help me communicate better. We don't always have to communicate with this. Sometimes we can communicate and what they said back in the day, they forgot a conversation ruled a nation. That's it. That's all I'm saying. So the stones, when you're looking at the stones, you're looking at professionals, people that have done the research and studying and ancient, like we're telling you the same thing the ancient ancestors told us. And how did they tell us? They told us through the stones. You see what I'm saying? They could have carved anything in the world in stone, and they carved nigga faces all around the globe. Why is that? Deep dive.
Yes, sir. Hey, real quick too, man, we got some requests for the jury, bro. You got a link that we can drop in the comments for the family?
It's just a research way. That's just a research stone in Swahili or something like this. And like I say, we're doing sacred geometry. These are all our stones. Like when we're getting our stones, we know where we're getting our stones from. Like when you're looking in the mineral market, and we can ignore the mineral market if you want to, but the white folks getting rich off it. The Asians getting rich off it. We the only people that's not benefiting on our minerals. So, and then understanding what the spiritual system of it. So spiritually, financially, scientifically, you do need stones in your life, and the stones are there. So you still and that's where you can see it. You can inbox us if you ever want anything custom made or whatever. We can do it. I pride myself in having rare stones. Like we have stones from Tanzanite. That's only from Tanzania. It's a high vibrational stone, some high vibrational stones, and that's what they assassinated that president for. That's why they tried to assassinate. That's why they tried to assassinate President Ibrahim. That's why President Ibrahim Traoré is so important. You see what I'm saying? These gemstones not a play. Why do you think they're fighting in what do you think BRICS is? BRICS is about minerals. When they say rare earth minerals, the same way sometimes you can see in this conversation how some shit went over their head. Don't let them talk over your head. BRICS is only talking about gemstones and rare earth minerals that you can get into this game right now. This is not no one man thing. They have a sister, G or something. I can't remember her name, but she's a goddess. She's doing her thing. She went to Africa and she did business with the Africans, right? She told them, yo, you got gold in your land, and she's making so much, like she's doing her thing with the gold right now. Oh, do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like, we need more of this, especially if we got people going back and forth to these lands, doing in exchange. Fuck going over to have fun and chi and smiling in people's face. Hey, I need to learn how to grow spiritually, and like you said, 720 economically. Like, yeah, we can do that: love, life, loyalty, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, but we also need education, economics, politics, unity, security, organization. You see what I'm saying? If we want the whole 720 of this thing. So, that's it. This is what the world is fighting for right now. They don't want to tell you that, but that's what the word is. BRICS. Look up BRICS. Look at what they're fighting for in Burkina Faso. Look at what they did. Burkina Faso, he just said, you won't do it here. You're not going to do to me what you did to all these other indigenous lands. And it's funny because all these other indigenous lands, the people look like us. We don't want to have none of those relations. But all the original people from those lands, all they did was sell out. And if we were to do the real history and do the real research on it, these people really will germicide the fuck out of lands. They will bring a group of people like from Asia or something like that and bring them here and say, I want you to mate until y'all breed these people out. And when we can't, how do you do it? We program you. Now we make it seem like that's what you do. So we've always been at war. We're going to be at war. Stop the friendly shit. Once you understand you're at war, you get the proper tools, you get the proper weapons, because proper preparation prevents poor performance. You ain't got to get ready when you stay ready spiritually. Yes, but when we talking about law enforcement, hi John the Conqueror. I keep going back to it. When we talking about that brother that's that killed the police, somebody get that brother some hi John the Conqueror. Somebody go sprinkle some salt in the courtroom. Somebody go sprinkle some black pepper or mustard seed in the courtroom. Y'all know what to do. Go get the juju bags every time that brother go to court. Light a candle, a court candle for that brother. You see what I'm saying? We know how to do juju. We out here doing love spells on each other. We out here doing juju against each other and not the landlord. Nigga, I need to do some juju to make you give me the land back.
That's a whole other conversation. When I tell you, boy. Yeah, that's a whole other conversation that I'm looking forward to having too, because we need to talk about some of that. I'm gonna get all the links, man.
Appreciation for the conversation. I don't give a damn about nothing. Like, no, there is no negativity. You know what I'm saying? Everything in the frequency and alignment is beautiful. Period. You know what I'm saying? Nothing can stop us from what is designed for us because it's all the frequency. You see what I'm saying? You can't change nothing. You can't railroad anything. So appreciation, God, man. Thank you again, brother. For real. I love you.
All right, family. Appreciate you, bro. We out.
Peace.
Ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé ṣàpò ìyàpọ̀ tẹ́ntẹ́ni takisa ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo ṣe ní gbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́. Forsake not your ancestors and praise your